This is an instruction video on how to use the DemiScript editor viewer editor functions. For example, we're going to use the Bunken Edo Esu IIIF manifest. After loading it, the document, in this case a map, will show in our editor viewer. And the editor controls are at the bottom of the editor viewer. You can see an input field there, which can be used for text, but also for special functions. Now that we have our map set up, we can zoom in fairly closely. It's a very large image, and there's much to explore here. Using the rotation slider, we can rotate elements we want to inspect more closely upright. And by clicking on 0 degrees, we can reset the rotation again once we're done looking at the rotated objects. For example, we are going to look a bit closer at this area, which is Ryogoku, an area in Edo. Now, to start annotating and transcribing, we use our input box. Here we can write something like Ryogoku Bashi to label the bridge above Ryogoku. When we click on the center icon of the input field, we insert CJK text, which stands for Chinese, Japanese, Korean. It is vertical text with some limitations because it's not fully supported by HTML canvases. And if you use the first icon next to the input box, that would be a horizontal text object. And as you saw, new text objects appear at the top left corner of the document, unless you have another text object selected and click the third button, which will copy the text stylings. Now we're using the polygon tool, which is the next one in line. It's the 3 dots icon. After clicking on it, we click on various points on the document to draw a polygon and double-click to finish drawing. We can then open the advanced editor by clicking the pen icon on the top right. And here we can do stuff like set the color, the fill of our polygon area. Here I increase the transparency of our red. Now we could label the echoing temple, echoing, and use the copy insert function to create a new text object with the same settings. We'll still have to change the text fill because it uses the fill we select here in our advanced options. But what we can also do is select the original text piece with Ryogoku Bashi and then click on the eyedropper to copy that color, and then the paint bucket to apply that color to the object we have selected. Of course, we can manipulate our text objects in various ways, increase, decrease size, or rotate it. And we have another option to just inserting transcriptions directly. I'll delete this object. By clicking on the geolocation pin, the outermost icon, we can insert a map pin with a tag. The tag will have the text of the input box. And the map pin and tag themselves are also overlay objects, so we can move them, decrease or increase their size. If you add a pin to a document, it will be placed at the center of the active object. The active object is always the last object you clicked. You can see that an object is active because it has a bounding box with the corner points that you can use to manipulate it. Now, if we add an additional line of text to this tag, for example, by writing the Romaji reading of the temple, echoing, we can now also use the line height tool, which is next to the delete button, to decrease the line height and move the lines closer together. Now we can also move objects to the bottom of the object ordering. As you can see, this pin is now ordered below the polygon, but of course we don't want that because it looks weird. So we'll move the polygon back to the bottom. For this we use the downwards double arrow at the bottom of the advanced editing view. You can also use the shape tools next to the polygon tools. We have rectangle and circle tools. To draw rectangles and circles, just click on the tool, then click on the document, move your mouse to draw out the shape, and then click again to finish drawing the shape. And then you can use the advanced tools once again to change the overlay color. For example, I've set the outline I created for the Ryogokubashi to a light blue. Here's the circle. Now that we've selected the light blue in the advanced options, the circle automatically has this fill set already. Now what we can also do is insert images into the document. To do so, we first need an image, and we can create one from the document by clicking on the scissors tool and then dragging a rectangle across the part we want an image of. It will create an image link using the IIIF server. We can then open that image. That's a JPEG file. We can copy the link, and now what you can do is paste the link into the input box. And then click on the image icon. It's next to the circle icon. And an image will be inserted using the URL you have pasted. And you can manipulate this image object also, transforming it or rotating it and dragging it anywhere on the document. You can use this to enhance your annotations. We'll delete this. And then next comes the curation tool. Now, to use the curation tool, we first have to create curation folders. We create one called Shrines and Temples. And then we'll zoom in here on the Asakusa Kinryusan and click on the curation icon. Select the area, name our image section. I'll just type in Kinryusan. We select the Shrines and Temples curation folder and click Add to Folders. We can select multiple folders, so the image section we're curating can also be in more than one folder. Now we'll do the same with the echoing. And we'll pick out one more Let's look around a bit on the map. Recall there was a little compira next to the Toranomon. And there by the bridge is the Toranomon. You can see the label on the river, and the small red box is the compira. So we'll call it Toranomon compira. I don't remember how to do katakana directly. I'll just do it in hiragana here. Add to folder, and then it's part of our curated collection. Now we can do several things with this collection. Once we go back to the curation view, we open the Shrines and Temples folder, and there they are, the 3 shrines and temples we've collected. If we click on one, it will open a JPEG image generated by the IIIF framework. We can download that, or we can click on the downward diagonal arrow, and the view will go to the page where the image section was curated, and then zoom in on that specific section so that it takes up all of the viewport. And if any of these were on a different page on the document, it would still go to the correct page and zoom in to the correct place. You can create very well curated documents with this and allow users to navigate them entirely through the curation view. Now the last icon in the advanced view is a very powerful one. It's the advanced settings icon. You can click on any object, and then on the advanced settings icon, it's that boxed gear icon. And then you can edit almost all available options for the object. Here, for example, I changed the stroke color. You can also change the stroke width. And the options that are available are based on the framework we use for the objects, which is Fabric.js. This is a special field called comment that I added to the objects. You can add any content to this comment field. And for example, the template project I created for implementing your transcriptions as a web project allows for the use of BB code. Specifically, if you write article as BB markup and put an article name in there, you can load an HTML file when you click on the object with the comment. Now, as you can see, we have the overlay section here. You can create any number of overlay sections, but the standard sections will be main and pins. And if you add any text element to the main overlay, it will appear in the plain text transcription. So because the echoing tag is a tag created with the map pin tool, it was not originally part of the main overlay, but the Ryogokubashi was just inserted as text. So it's part of the main overlay, part of the transcription.